Did you need the $30 soap? No. Did you buy it? Yes. Be your best petty self. This is petty done right.
That is borderline crazy.
Well, hold on. I have a question for you.
Oh, man.
As you guys know, I'm getting married soon. I am a bride-to-be of 2025, and I'm so excited. But you know what they say about marriage? Marriage chains you down. It holds you down. You're tied up for life. No, I'm kidding. I'm so kidding. I'm so kidding. I'm so excited to be married. But what I do believe about marriage is that it is a partnership. It's, you're spending basically the rest of your life with your best friend, your life partner. It's going to be a blast. It's going to be an adventure. It's going to be great. And it's someone you share unbreakable bond with, right? Someone you trust 100%, right? Right? Well, I thought, what better way to celebrate or to get into kind of the upcoming wedding festivities mood by diving into marriage stories, guys. Today, we are going to dive into a bunch of stories where the couples will be tested. Is their bond as strong as they think? We will see. So let's get into our first story. And I'm not going to lie, I have a hidden agenda in today's episode. Some of these stories, I'm very curious to see what my fiance, my husband-to-be, I almost called you Mr. M, or Mr. Deep Voice, as you guys dubbed him, see what his take is on this. It's kind of like, maybe it's my secret way of quizzing him. Who knows? Now, our first story is from the subreddit AITA. Am I the a-hole for not respecting fancy soap policy in our bathroom and accidentally starting a soap-based arms race? That's a tongue twister. Soap-based arms race. See, I don't know if I can say that 3 times fast. So my wife, 30-year-old female, bought this absurdly expensive soap from some little shop. It came in a tiny frosted glass bottle wrapped in twine with ridiculous branding like, quote, hints of pine, regret, and artisanal disappointment, or something like that. She placed it on the bathroom counter and told me, this is for guests. We don't have guests, ever. Okay, maybe once every 2 months. I told her that, but apparently the idea of a guest potentially seeing that we use commoner soap is too horrifying to bear. So the fancy soap was enshrined like the Mona Lisa, untouched. Fast forward, I run out of my regular cheapo soap, which came in a cracked plastic bottle with a pump that wheezed. OP! Fast forward, I run out of my regular cheapo soap, which came in a cracked plastic bottle with a pump that wheezed like a dying guinea pig. So, in a moment of desperation and dirty hands, I dared to touch the Holy Grail. Was halfway through using a single pump of the fancy soap when she walked in looking at me as if I was defiling the sacred artifact or microwaving the Fabergé egg. She said I was wasting it and that it's not for everyday hands. I was pissed. Then I did the unthinkable. I went out and bought my own fancy soap. $30. Grapefruit and cedar. Smells like if a lumberjack went to therapy. I put it proudly on my side of the sink. I declared that this is my new soap and only I have a right to use it. Suddenly, it's Cold War, soap edition. That evening, I saw over her shoulder that she was searching for more soap bottles on Etsy, like she wanted revenge. At this point, I now want to invite some guests over to make sure they use my fancy soap and not hers. Haha. Now, she's mad that I'm mocking her and says I'm turning cleanliness into a competition. I told her she'd start the soap caste system. I just refuse to be born into the lower class. She hasn't spoken to me in 2 days, but I smell amazing. Tell me, am I the a-hole? Oh, wait. See, when I say be your best petty self, this is petty done right. Oh, so satisfying. Why are you shaking your head? What's
This
wrong
is
with
not
it?
petty done right.
This is petty done right.
I don't know. This is just petty.
This is so satisfying. Like, oh, I am living through OP. Like, we've read stories where people win lotteries and stuff, and I've never felt like, oh, I'm living through you, OP. No, I feel like OP is my spirit human right now. You have dared to go where I have not dared to go before. Oh, you are upping the ante on this. I love it. See, I have a few questions before we dive into the judgment. First off, how much was the expensive soap that wife bought? Okay? Because I need to know, how are we going to war? Is this based on price point for fanciness, or is this also based on like luxury brand name? Like how deeply luxury are we going for soap? Because I have been down the soap rabbit hole, okay? That apparently it can go up to like hundreds of dollars for soap. Hand soap, honey. Fancy hand soap. Question 2. What is with this branding? Can someone tell me what soap brand this is? I'm not going to buy it. Maybe, depending on the price point. I'm just curious. What is the branding that has, quote, hints of pine regret and artisanal disappointment? Are we sure that artisanal disappointment isn't from the price tag after you buy the soap and not just from the scent itself? Like, how do you bottle artisanal disappointment? I feel like you do that with a very expensive price tag, right? And my favorite is how OP like describes the bottle. From the bottle itself, you can tell this is pretentious soap, okay? This is a soap you buy if you want to flaunt the fact that mere peasants may not touch thou, you know? Like it's just like wrapped in twine in a tiny glass bottle. So it's not even one of those like value pack soap either. It's like one of those like tiny squeeze bottles, I bet you. It's like the tiny ones. Maybe it has like a little dropper. It's like a little bit more fancy when it has a dropper nozzle. Not even like a, basic pump. Like no, that's it. Each person gets a drop. A drop will be like $30. Okay. What I'm laughing at is the fact that I totally pictured the whole scenario like a slow-mo movie. Like OP's running out of his cheap soap shoe. And it's probably one of those like, okay, maybe I'm putting ourselves on blast here. But Em and I use, I don't know, I don't think we use like the cheapest soap, but I don't think we're like, okay, we're nowhere near bougie. I don't even know what soap brand we use right now, to be honest with you. Because the original soap bottle we have is, I think, from like a Miss Myers brand, like a Trader Joe's brand or something, or generic Target brand, something like that we use. And then we went, this bottle is good for another use. So let us just buy the huge family pack of hand soap and then refill it. So yeah, like I'm just betting that if wife came into our home and saw the bottle and it's like the bottle says maybe it's like lemon scented and then she used it and she's like, this is not lemon. This smells like cheap citrus or something.
Smells like peasants.
It smell like peasants in here. Like I feel like she would leave the bathroom in our home and then she would look at us and I feel like I would instantly feel shame. I feel like she would look at us and I would just know that she knows that I know that she knows what we did. Does that make sense?
It makes sense, but who cares? Why do people care so much about the hand
Well, I
soap?
wasn't self-conscious. I never thought this would be an issue, but now I'm self-conscious about like,
That
do
is
I guess
crazy.
judge our soap?
That is borderline crazy.
See, I'm laughing because this is wild. The fact that she was so offended, like I'm just my OP's like, all right, let me just sneak a little bit of her like fancy soap when she's not watching. And then right at that moment, of course, wife is gonna be there and she's like, just like, how dare you, peasant?
Probably had like a sensor on the soap when it got depressed. Yeah.
Can you imagine? It's like you hear, it's like, I imagine like if she went a step further, it would like there'd be a little sign. Please limit to 2 droplets per wash only. Like, instead of the bathroom signs where you would go to a restaurant, you would say, employees, please wash your hands, or like a reminder, like always wash your hands for at least 2 minutes or something like that. Her sign would be the opposite. Please limit your hand washing to, an adequate amount. I'm laughing. Also, OP, this is just some personal advice. You think $30 for soap is fancy? I mean, yes, it's very expensive, but that's nothing. I urge you, if you have the budget and your finances allow, and this petty war is still ongoing in good fun. I think it's still going on in good fun. Don't shake your head. I think it's going on in good fun. Up it to like $50 soap. Up it to $50. Like just, Wait, what's a more expensive soap? Like L'Occitane? Is that how you call it? Like, is that, to me, that's bougie. Like, I'm thinking anything above Bath and Body Works, no offense to Bath and Body Works, is considered bougie to me. Or if they're one of those like more minimal the soap container and the more rustic the scent, the more I think is bougie. The more I think, oh, it's one of those like fancy pants like smells, right? Because like I heard that there's a really expensive like soap brand where it's like, it smells like tomatoes on a vine. And apparently it's like almost like $100. I could be wrong. Maybe it's a candle, maybe it's a soap. I don't remember. But here's my thing. Maybe I'm like, maybe this peasant thinking, right? But for me, I gravitate towards like citrusy smells. Like if it's like floral or citrusy or a fun scent, I would think that should be more expensive. Why on earth would I want to smell like if a lumberjack went to therapy? You know, like it just feels like, why would I want to smell like that? Like, no. So I don't know. Oh, wait, why not? Up for like a $60 like hand soap. And you guys like a particular brand that you're in favor of, or you have a go-to hand soap brand, or if any of you are kind of like the experts and you're kind of want to smack me for like being a peasant not knowing, what are your favorite scents or I guess brands for hand soap? I'm curious. Give me some ideas. I mean, no, I'm not that I'm gonna buy it. I'm just curious. Why are you shaking your head? Maybe I heard that people like scents are very like important and it can like increase your wellness and your love,
Mm-hmm.
like in general, like in like your happiness and stuff.
Sure.
Aromatherapy, that's what they call it. So maybe we can invest. We can invest in it, honey.
Pretty sure you can just get those scents,
But it's
the
different.
candles or whatever it may
But
be.
it's different. One thing I will say, like the first like scent splurge I ever had, because I don't really do perfume. Like I just don't see the point of it for me, because I kind of feel like the scent just disappears after the first spritz. Hand lotion. So I've used Caudalie hand lotion, grape scent. Oh my God. It does smell a little bit more bougie. It does smell very heavenly. You've used it before. Isn't it nice?
Don't remember.
Oh my gosh. Oh my. It's wasted on you. But see, does it justify the price tag? Like if I were to admit, like, does my normal Target lotion or my TJ Maxx strawberry milk lotion smell just as good? Kind of, yeah, to be honest. So I don't know. Maybe it's just most luxury scents are just hype. But easy verdict. Let's hop to the verdict. OP, not the a-hole. To answer your question, because your question was originally for not respecting the fancy soap policy and accidentally starting a soap-based arms race. I feel like the moment in time, technically, you really needed it. You hadn't used the soap otherwise. You ran out and you used it. I think you were justified. I think, make the case to your wife. This is extenuating circumstance, a special exception case. You should be freed from the verdict of a-hole.
Well, in that regard, yes. I don't think OP, but
when he took it a step further,
yeah, it's just pure pettiness.
Yeah.
And not speaking to each other for 2 days over the damn soap.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that.
Well, I guess it's not the soap. I guess it's the
principle of the soap.
Yeah, it's the principle. I don't know.
What?
Seems like they're wasting their lives. Like they could be spending together.
I mean, yeah. But okay. This is one of those relationships where I look at them and I think, oh, this is such a cute couple. Hear me out. Yes, they gave each other silent treatment for 2 days over soap, right? But hear me out. The fact that they're engaging in this soap war together, they're still communicating. Okay, I sound psycho right now. They're still communicating, just not verbally. And it's kind of like a fun, like, quality time activity. Does that sound nutty? Like,
yeah.
It's like, I think, yes. Are they actually mad? Yes. But underneath the layer of madness is, I think, love and a bond. Like, I look at this couple and I think, wow, you're one of the rare couples I've seen on Reddit where I think you guys will probably be together for a long time. Does that make me toxic? I don't know. I think they're a cute couple in a way with their little soaps race, as long as both are still kind of having good fun, minus the whole silent treatment. Now, I can picture us. No, I can't picture it. Here's the problem, guys. Em and I could never have this type of dynamic. And here's the reason why. I would buy the expensive $30 soap, and then you know what M would do? He would be the bigger person. He would just go, he would just probably, let me think about it. He would probably see it, like I would be all smug and I'll be like, honey, did you see that? Have you washed your hands today yet? I mean, I hope you do, but have you walked into the bathroom yet? You should check it out and see. And then he would walk and he'd be like, he would just look at me and he probably wouldn't even say anything. He'd probably just look at me with a face of disappointment, like, and then like the nonverbal like message he would be communicating with his eyes would be, I'm disappointed in you. Not because you bought soap, but because you were being petty in a financially irresponsible manner. Did you need the $30 soap? No. Did you buy it? Yes. And now sit in your regret. Sit in the aftermath of your purchase and feel the disappointment.
Man.
That's what your eyes communicate to me when I make a bad decision. Am I wrong?
Can't say that it hasn't happened.
See, you see this? It's horrible. Like, I'd rather he just say it verbally, but sometimes he just looks at me and he's like, And it says it all. It's so annoying. So yeah, we could never have this dynamic because the Cold War would end there. Literally, I would buy the soap, he would accept it. I would feel the consequences of my actions, and then we would move on. The only time we could ever have a fight over this would be our still current ongoing. I wouldn't even call it like a Cold War. Toilet paper. I still put it under, and he still puts the toilet paper roll in over. I don't think we'll ever end that. I don't even call it a fight. I think it's just who will win in the end. Who knows? I guess we'll find out when we're like, I don't know. In our last breath, we'll find out, I won. You didn't switch the toilet paper roll yet. So maybe we'll find out then. But yeah, I don't know. I guess fine, OP, you kind of are the a-hole after the fact. But in regards to your actual question, you're not an a-hole for using the soap. You're an a-hole for continuing the war, I suppose. But let's see what the comments say. First comment, it's always heartwarming to see two psychopaths find each other and fall in love. Godspeed to the both of you. Wait, I found this romantic. Does that make me a psycho?
Just a bit.
Because I'd rather a couple fight over something dumb, right? Like soap. Then they fight over something truly horrific, like, you slept with my sister. You slept with my best friend. You slept with a neighbor. Like, it's better than that. So I'll take that any day. Another comment, please, OP, put your soap in a clear box with a small lock. Bonus points for fancy ribbon or dressing around the box. Wear the key on a long chain around your neck. Oh, that's evil. Oh, that's diabolical. That's beautiful. I mean, no, don't do it. You didn't hear it from me. But if you really want to win the war on the soap, make it fancy. Lock that soap down. Ooh, have one of those, you know what? Instead of the lock and key, I'm just imagining OP like walking around, like a grown man walking around with like a nice like metals, like maybe gold or silver, like key, like one of those archaic antique keys, right? To the soapbox with a ribbon tied around his neck. And him and his wife are not speaking, but they're still obviously having meals together in my imagination, of course. So they're just sitting there in silence at the dinner table, like I hear like the silverware clinking as they eat. And they're just like, what's that scent? It smells so good. Oh, it's my hand soap. It's a shame you'll never, it's a shame you haven't tried it yet. Oh, wait, you can't. That's how I imagine
So
their
every
dinner.
time he goes to use it, he has to unlock it.
Huh?
He has to unlock the soap.
Yes, in order to use it, of course. To complete it. Oh, you know what would really bring up the ante for like the whole soap debacle? Imagine it escalates past soap. Like they start redecorating their home. Like it bleeds into, you know what? Wife starts adding fancy hand lotion. You know what? Husband starts adding fancy candles to the bathroom. You know what? Let's add a fancy mirror. Switch up the mirror. Add a nice little like warm carpet, plush carpet in the bathroom. Something like that. I don't know. On the bright side, at the end of this fight, I guarantee you both husband and wife will have a very nice bougie bathroom. For their guests, of course. Because neither of them can obviously use it.
Can have all these things that they cannot use.
Yep. You know, I see, maybe I'm the peasant. Okay. One thing I've learned from my relationship, right? Our relationship is that part of me always carried peasant thinking. For example, I might have hoarding tendencies. When I get something new, like a new body wash or new like hand soap or like a fancier brand, I try to use up my current brand first, right? But even then, part of me is hesitant to open up the new package to use a new one. And I just want to keep in its little like packaging and plastic and wrapping. And Emma's just like, it's literally soap, or it's literally like, you got it to use it. Why are you not using it? Like, what? Like, he just looks at me like, what is wrong with you? Like, just use it. And I'm like, no, keep it in its nice plastic. Keep it in its nice, like, and he's just like, you're a hoarder. See, I don't hoard, guys. Do I have the tendency and potential makings to be a wonderful hoarder? I think so.
See, I think if you were unchecked, and let's say
Imagine
I
the potential.
left you in the house alone for like a year,
Imagine the potential. Imagine the potential unleashed.
I tried to open the door wouldn't open.
It would be
See,
wrapped in plastic.
the episode of Hoarders.
No. But at least everything would be nice and clean.
Would it be clean?
Outside of its packaging. Like it'll be wrapped up. Inside the wrapping will be clean. Outside, I can't vouch for that. But inside will be nice. Yeah? So, in our next episode of Hoarders. No, I'm kidding, guys. I'm kidding. All in good fun, guys. Now, that's my verdict for first story here. But don't worry, guys. We got a next one. Probably not as kooky, but I think one that you guys will equally enjoy. Any of you guys have been enjoying the reading so far, don't forget to like this video and hit subscribe, guys. Although if you are listening in from Spotify, don't forget to rate this podcast 5 stars, guys. I feel I'm asking for like a Yelp review, Yelp rating. Rate me 5 stars, guys. Now, our next story is also from the subreddit AITH. I'm loving the stories from AITH lately. And they're usually a little bit more unhinged. So I don't know. I don't know what that's about me, my mood lately. OP says, am I the a-hole for telling our friends the real reason we didn't save them seats at an event, even though it upset my husband? My husband and I attended a ticketed event that he had invited some of our friends to. We gave them the tickets. Our friends were running late and I wanted to save them seats. There were plenty of available seats available and many people were saving multiple spots. So it wasn't a situation where saving seats was against rules or disruptive. My husband didn't want to save seats. He said it was rude to save that many. We had 6 friends coming and told me not to micromanage an event he invited people to. I disagreed. I felt it was polite to save seats for people we invited, especially when it was clearly allowed and there were many available seats. But after he told me to sit down for a second time, I was like, fine, whatever, and I didn't save any seats. When our friend arrived, they were disappointed that they couldn't sit with us. At that point, there was still an option to move to another row so we could all sit together. Our row had empty spots, but it was that awkward thing where people sat 2 and then 1 empty seat type of deal. But the only row with 6 seats together were 2 rows back, and my husband preferred the seats we already had. So we didn't move. We found 2 middle seats in front of us and told them, why don't they sit there? But they said, no, it's okay. We'll sit here and save these seats for XX and YY, our 2 other friends who were also late to the event. I went up to them when we had all sat, event hadn't started yet, to make small talk, and they asked why we didn't save them seats. I told them truthfully, quote, I wanted to save you seats, but husband name said it would be rude to. My husband was upset with me and said I threw him under the bus. He said I should have lied and said we tried to save seats, but they got there too late. But that wouldn't have made sense since there were still many empty rows when they arrived, so we could have just moved and sat together. He feels I embarrassed him, but from my perspective, I just didn't want to take responsibility for a decision I didn't agree with. And I low-key wanted him to understand that he was being unnecessarily petty for not saving seats. Anyways, he got very angry and said I threw him under the bus and that I should be a united front with him. I told him I can't be united and take the hit for something I disagreed with from the get-go. So, am I the a-hole? Oh man. You know how they say in marriage, we are united as a couple, we are together, and we stand strong together. The biggest betrayal of the plot here is OP literally telling the friends, point blank, no, I did want to save you seats. My husband didn't, though. That is cold-hearted. Biggest plot twist of the century. Like, that is a stab in the gut. I'm not gonna lie. That cuts deep. That cuts deep. What do you say? Is this a betrayal or was she just speaking the facts?
Might be in a hot seat here, but I think it is a betrayal.
Yeah?
Right? I mean, yeah, you and your husband had a different opinion about something, I guess, and I don't know how it came down to be that basically the OP agreed with the husband. Well, not agreed, but she at least...
She unwillingly sat down.
Yeah, she unwillingly sat down and kind of dropped it. And then when that came up...
When the friends came up, yep, and asked...
She did throw her husband under the bus. So...
Straight up.
Yeah. And I guess just...
That's funny.
Personally, I don't know. I would personally feel awkward saving 6 seats.
I
That
know.
is kind of like, I mean, 2, 4 seats. Yeah, that's okay, I
60 is a
guess.
lot.
But 6, that is just, I don't know. Especially since they were late. Why are they late?
Well,
That would kind of like annoy me unless they had a good reason to
it
be
depends
late.
on how you consider late because they did get seats. Like everyone did arrive before the show starts.
Oh,
Like, do
okay.
you count late as, you know how shows, like when you sit for a show, typically they say, oh, it starts 8:30, say for example. But really it's like you have, even to the movies, right? You have credits rolling or you have like a intro period, whatever it is, and then 8:45 is the actual start time. You know what I mean? So would you do you consider it late if someone arrives at an event that's listed at 8:30 but doesn't start till 8:45, for example? If they arrive at say like 8:35, 8:40, right? Is that
Well, a
considered
few
late?
minutes, I guess that's okay, but and I don't know, like what kind of event can you like seat? I mean,
So
save
it's
that
a
many
ticketed
seats.
event. So I'm imagining like it could be a ballet, it could be a
Usually, you have assigned seats
musical.
for those.
Really?
Yeah,
For ballet tickets?
like
I have no idea. See, I have
I
no
would
idea.
think so. Like most of the events, you have assigned
That's true.
seats.
That's true. There are some events though that are open seats. Like I know I went to a small concert before and because the venue's like pretty small, like
So I
only like
mean,
100, 200 people, there were no assigned seats
so what's the limit on the number of seats? Because I can
that you can
say I
save.
can pick the best row and like, well, this whole row is saved. You can no one can sit here. I'm saving these. Like this makes no sense.
So you think it matters the number of seats you're trying to save?
For sure, because yeah, I could just say this whole row
Mm,
is off limits for everyone.
that's
Like,
kind of like, that gives me an ick a little
yeah,
bit.
yeah,
See, I'm conflicted, right? Because, and I picked the story because I feel like we have either run into this situation before or I feel like we probably will at some point, right? I am not against saving the seat, right? As long as as long as like if I invited someone to something to go with me, right? And I got there, say 10 minutes before them, and I'm like, oh, I'll grab us a seat, right? One or two friends, I'm like, yeah, of course I'll save you a seat. Because the whole point of us going to this is that we sit together and we're together. So I see that. But you brought up a good point of number of people. Because how would I feel if all these other people say they came the same time as me or they came earlier even? They came early so that they could grab their seats. My friend or whoever, our friends come later, and then it's kind of like, it's almost like, I don't want to say cutting in line, but it's almost like it makes me feel some sort of way of all these people came earlier and yet now they're kind of like, well, why can't I have the seat? You don't technically own it. It's kind of courtesy if I even let you save the seat because technically there's no such thing as saving the seat, right?
right,
For an open event like this where
right.
people can just choose your seat.
I mean,
I'm
to me,
kind of like,
it's
I'm in
almost
between.
almost similar to, let's say you're waiting in line at the airport check-in, and there's someone in front of you, and then bunch of people come
Right?
and
And
join
then
that
cut in front of me.
person.
Oh, I was saving the spot for my
Yeah,
6 relatives with their
yeah,
luggages.
and the random friends, and because technically, if it's free for all type of thing, it's whoever comes first gets the seat.
Right,
They
right.
get to sit there. So I don't know. To me personally, I would feel somewhat awkward asking someone to save me a seat. At the same time, I don't also want to save a seat because
Well,
I see it as kind of a bit rude. Like unless it's like, okay, one seat, that's fine. Like maybe two, four is kind of pushing it, but six, I think is that's a little too many.
I love how we're debating on the numbers. I was like, oh, two's okay.
I think
4 is and then it's like 6. Oh no.
I think
But see,
that's where it comes down to. Like if you're saving one seat, just one seat only, and the event is not packed, I think that's completely fine.
I agree with you. I find it silly based on principle. Like I totally like. Here's the thing. In practical, in real life, right? I think you're right. Like I would probably react the same way, which is 6, anything above like 5. My cutoff is 5. Maybe that's a little bit more lenient. I don't know. My cutoff is 5. Like I know it's silly to be like, oh, 6 is too much, but 5 is okay. But I think about it in terms of theater seats. That's how I'm thinking about it, right? It's like how the seats are, I guess, divvied up. Like even OP saying, I would feel so awkward if, say, a mom and her little daughter like came and was about to sit down. And I'm like, sorry, this whole row is reserved.
Right? You're sitting on one end, and you're like,
Yeah.
hello, hello. You can't sit there. It's saved.
Yeah, like, I was like, "Am I it's like a-hole?" Like, I feel like I would look
Right.
like a jerk.
Yeah.
I would be a jerk. I wouldn't just look like one, I would be one. So, I see the husband's, like, point of view, but then I also feel weird that it's like, why didn't wait, okay, here are 2 things I feel like they could have done instead. Either, like OP suggested, right? Just sit with the friends, 2 rows back, but, I mean, okay, maybe not as ideal, not the best seats in the house. Like, you give up your best seats in the house to move 2 rows back, but you sit with the people you invited, right? I think that's the courteous thing to do, especially because husband's saying, "Oh, well, they're my guests that I invited to this event, so let me handle it," type of attitude I'm sensing. I'm like, "You do you, but if you go with a group of friends, right, you ideally wanna sit near-ish to them or sit with them. Not that you have to, but I'm just saying, like, you could have just moved back. But it seems like Opie's husband was dead set on, no, we got our good seats. We're going to sit here, which is honestly also fine. Like, they're all adults. Like, you can sit separately for the show. It's not like you're going to be like actively conversing during the show, right? You can catch up after, have a meal after, right? You're all going to be seeing the same thing visually. Another solution I'm thinking is, why didn't you just wait outside for them until they show up? I guess the fear is if you wait outside and you don't know if they're late or not, now you risk not getting seats at all, much less seats together
Or horrible seats.
or bad seats. I will say, you know what I'm reminded of? The one time we got bad seats at so my sister was performing and she was performing like it was her dance performance. And it really was, seats, open seats, like it's ticketed, but whoever comes first, you can pick whatever seats, right? And I remember we were in line for it, but we were delayed because I think we were somehow like, I think we were waiting on my parents or something. I remember this. We were waiting on like some other people, like my parents, I think. And they came a little bit later and we ended up like arriving like 15 minutes later than we would have arrived because we were waiting on them and then we ended up carpooling or something like that. So no, by the time we get there, there's already a long line, right? And 15 minutes might not sound like a lot, but for events like this, where it's like, dang, there's a line, 15 minutes could mean the difference between you sitting on row 3 and you sitting on row like 10, to be honest, right? So I was a little bit peeved personally that we were kind of sitting like, not the armpit area as I would call it, but we weren't even sitting in the middle. It's like there's like 3 sections usually in a theater, right? And it's like we were sitting on the right side, but like on the edge. So the entire time when I'm watching my sister, it's like my head is craned like turned 45 degrees to the left the entire time. Which is, it's not the worst. I'm complaining. I'm making a lot over nothing, but it's not the worst. But I would have liked being a little bit earlier as we were on time and grabbing nicer seats because it would have been nice to have that chance too, is all I'm saying. So I sense that frustration. With that being said, OP, can I abstain from judgment for this one?
Mm.
Can I abstain?
I'm personally still thinking like, what's the right amount of seats you can save? Is it like one per
5,
person? If you have
6.
2 people, you can save 2 seats max.
That kind of is reasonable-ish. I'll be honest, I think it's just like the number is just a number that we say to justify it to ourselves so that we feel better
Right.
about it. But in principle, technically, you're not supposed to.
Well, according to the OP,
Ah!
anyone can do it. Just because others are doing, you can do it too.
See, I also don't agree with that mentality though, because just because someone else is like, you don't want to like, because picture if everyone's doing that. That's kind of annoying. If everyone's freaking saving a whole like 6 seats, imagine how annoying it is for people who are like going either solo or going with like a group of like an odd number, like 3 people or 5 people instead of like, whatever the perfect 6 or whatever the row is. Wait, there's more context. So let me hold my judgment. Let me hold my judgment for once. So OP offers some context. She says, I know this isn't the question, but people keep saying I'm the a-hole for trying to save 6 seats. And in normal scenarios, I'd agree. But there were more than enough seats. Even after the show started, there were enough seats. Guys, this was at a community center. It wasn't a fancy concert. It was a charity show at a community center. There were plenty of seats. The show starts at 8:30. Doors open at 7:30. We told our friends to be there at 8. They arrived at 8:20 before the show started. The show ended up starting at 9 because of technical difficulties. We found a row that was like 5th row from the stage. Our friends arrived at 8:20, and even then, row 7 was completely clear. Like no one was sitting in it. We could have all sat there, but my husband was like, I don't want to move because we already have our seats, which is fair. Row 5 is closer, and we had settled down by that point. But at 8 p.m. when we arrived, row 5 was fully empty, and we could have just put a jacket or my purse and saved them seats. If it started to get crowded, I would have said, hey guys, we tried to save you seats, but it got crowded. And they would have seen that. The reason they were hurt and asked, why couldn't you save us some spots, was because there were so many spots that were empty, just not next to us. Next to us, there were staggered empty spots. Like it would be a couple sitting together, empty seat, family sitting in 4 spots, and then an empty seat. I was not going to ask people to get up and move just so we can sit. I think that's rude, but if we had saved the spots beforehand, I feel like it wouldn't have been a big deal. He just didn't want to. That's why I didn't want to take blame for it, because I disagreed with him early on. I said, I want to save seats. He said no. I said, come on, it's not a big deal. He said, no, please just sit and stop trying to micromanage this. I didn't want to cause a scene, so I'd sat, but I didn't agree with him, and he knew I didn't. I just want to know, am I the hole? Because to me, it's like you wanted to not save the seats, but you don't want to get heat for it. I am even more conflicted now. This has helped nothing.
I don't know. I'm not swayed.
Wait. So you have a verdict in mind?
I think so.
Yeah? What is it?
I mean,
I think I know, but
also saying, oh, just use a purse or a jacket. Like, how big is the purse? How big is the jacket that you're going to cover 6 seats?
no. The ideal is that OP would probably put one at each end of where the seats end. I'm imagining.
I mean, that's 6 extra seats.
Yeah.
I don't, like, that's just too many.
I think it's embarrassing to sit there for 20 minutes. I'll just admit it. I think it's an
If
embarrassment
anything,
thing.
I
It's
think
embarrassing
it's-
to sit there for 20 minutes like that.
If I had to say, it's less rude. Like, if you have a huge group and you have someone who's like sitting like staggered, I think it's less rude to ask someone
To gently ask someone and see if they'll even
could you guys, please move a couple seats down where we have a
Yeah.
large group. Like, you can ask and they can say no, and you
Right,
can be
right.
very civil about this. Like, there's not, so I don't know. That's just my verdict. I
See-
hear OP's point.
But I hear a but
Yeah.
coming, but
It's just 6 seats. That's all.
6
That's
seats is too many.
Yeah, that's too many.
See, here's the thing. I think in an ideal world where people are reasonable, of course you can ask. But let's be realistic, honey. You don't want to take that risk asking a stranger to ask them to move.
I could potentially ask, and
But then you
I
also
wouldn't
put
have an
them-
expectation.
Yeah, I know. But then when you ask them, then they'll feel pressure to say yes. And I feel like that would be rude in itself a little bit. Because now you're placing a pressure on someone. And what if there's someone a little bit weak-willed or a little bit like a doormat? They're like, I don't want to, but okay. You and your people of 6 just pull up and say, hey, do you mind moving? And it's like, it's intimidating.
Yeah.
I mean, I see your point as well, though. I'm just, okay, here's the thing. I feel like there are underlying issues in this relationship. I feel like the seats are a freaking metaphor, because when I picture Em and I, like, okay, we've had our disagreements, right? But our golden rule is not in front of people, okay? We will not hash out our dirty laundry and our beef in front of people, okay? We are not going to be like, ask M if he wants to pass the salt. I'm not speaking to him right now. We're not going to play that game, okay? Or if something happens, it's just like, I feel like Em and I have the principle of covering for each other. That's how we do it. Because even if I don't agree, I feel like if we end up doing it anyway, I'm just like, fine. Because I wouldn't want him to be seen in a negative light. And I also wouldn't want to be seen in a negative light. It's like, I feel like there was a more harmless way to get out of it. And it seems like, I'll be honest, OP, like she says, I didn't want to take a heat for something I'm not willing to do. I feel like at that point, they're both really like headstrong on this one thing. Personally, I would have either dropped it like, okay, it's no big deal. We can just sit separately. But if they asked, I would have just been like, I think honestly, a reasonable thing to say is, sorry, we didn't save you seats because we're also not sure, like everyone's not arriving together, and 6 seats is a lot of people. So we weren't sure if it was okay in this type of venue. I think that would have been okay to say too. Just admit that you didn't save seats because you also weren't sure or other reasons, right? But I'm not really a big fan of, I get it. You don't agree. But to kind of throw your partner underneath the bus was kind of, it's strong. It's strong because I feel like it took your petty argument between A and B, and now you have an audience into it. Does that make sense? Like, I feel like you brought other people into it now.
Right, but I guess you could also make an argument that Lopi's not throwing her husband under the bus
She's
because
just doing what she's
yeah,
stating a fact,
right.
which is also fair. I think that's also fair.
I guess I will also have to add that probably husband could have moved as well. I don't know if he has any other
He just
issue,
didn't want to.
or maybe he has a different opinion about the situation, or
What do you mean?
maybe
Like with moving the
maybe
seats?
or friends maybe constantly being late or something like that. Where
That's true. You don't have the context of that.
yeah, so
And that could be a thing.
right,
Because if you have unreliable people showing up, do you really want to be put at the mercy of, oh God, now that we're scrambling for seats?
right.
So that's fair too. I can only speak to my own perspective here is, even if I'm mad at M, I don't think I would put him on blast like that. I probably would have been like, we would have had a little argument in the car after. We would have been like, you see what I did? I covered for you. I did not do that. But do you see what happened here? I'm taking heat for this because of what you did. We would have an argument for sure, but between us.
Yeah, but what did the comments say?
Well, hold on. I have a question for you.
Oh man,
If it was the opposite, would you let me take the heat? If we were in the opposite scenario,
no.
so you would disagree, but you would take the heat with me.
I mean, yeah.
Okay, good.
For that, in that situation, you could just give some generic.
Wait,
answer.
Whoa! What do you mean in that situation? Well, normal.
If it were to
not take
happen
the heat?
in this particular situation, you can just come up with some answer. Like, I don't think you need to.
So you would lie for me?
Yeah, I would lie to you for you.
Oh my gosh. Let's see what's on the comments here. First comment, not the hill. First, they are not late. The event has not started yet. And your husband is wanting his cake and eat it too. Not fair to make you either lie or take the blame for a very rude thing he made you do. I would have moved or sat with my friends. Or I would have moved and sat with my friends. Your husband's being a jerk, 100%. Ooh, I think I'm disagreeing with this one. Because, okay, this is why I asked, when do you consider it as being late for an event? Because doors open at 7:30, event's supposed to start at 8:30. They show up at 8:20.
Yeah, I mean, if they had agreed upon time, which was 8, right?
Yeah.
So you had agreed upon
So
time.
I would base
you
on
agreed
that
to
you are
right?
late.
So you are technically late, right?
And you're
Like,
20 minutes late. That's I feel like 15 is the max of like, okay, like, that's okay. I'm not going to nitpick over 15 minutes. But anything, this is like the seat thing all over again. Minute 16 is where I'm like, I'm kidding, not minute 16, but like 20 minutes around. I'm like, dude, that's a third of an hour. Not to be technical, but
it's also a cultural thing about,
that's true.
I guess, lateness, and
that's
some people
true.
treat time like, well, hour here, hour there, doesn't matter.
I'll tell you guys this. The one time we had a meal and we had a scheduled meal with someone. That person, I will not name names. I called that person. We said 1, right? Okay, let's meet there at 1. We said 1. Then I called them like, okay, it's like, 1, are you like just checking in? Are you on your way? They said, oh, I thought you meant leaving my house at 1. I'm like, who has ever made a schedule with someone to leave their home? I'm like, I don't know your home. I don't know your GPS address. Like, how are we, like, what? Why? How can I plan around that? Like, I plan my arrival time based on when you leave your home. Like, what? So yeah, I will acknowledge that. Lateness can be tricky in a cultural thing. I don't agree with this comment that they were not late. They were definitely late. I'm sorry. Because even by normal standards, if a show is starting by 8:30, everyone knows. That's when you need to be ready in your seat. Not like strolling in through the door at 8:29 and expecting a seat type of deal, or 8:21 and expecting like 6 seats all together collectively for you to pick and choose. I think that's a little iffy. Now, with the husband, I will say husband is a jerk in the sense of he shouldn't be, I think in principle, he shouldn't, okay, is it justified to feel a little betrayed? Yes, absolutely. That your partner didn't cover for you? Kind of, yeah. But also, you got to own up to it, dude. You made your bed. You invited friends, and then you kind of went, no, I like my nice seats. Right. I shall not sit with you over there, 2 rows in the back. Which is honestly, I don't think it's that bad. 2 rows in the back is not that much of a difference. But, maybe that's just me. So You know what? Everyone sucks here. That's my verdict. Yeah, everyone sucks. It's not am I the a-hole. It's yeah, everyone kind of sucks here and how they handled it. A little bit too much pettiness going around, I think, between a couple. Another comment, not the whole. I don't like saving seats like that. So I actually agree with your husband on that part. But that being said, if you're going to make a decision like that, own it and tell other people that's what you're doing. Don't ask your spouse to lie about it. To be fair, I don't think husband foresaw a situation where people would ask, why didn't you save us seats? So it's not like he could preemptively ask OP to be like, can you lie for me? But I think he didn't expect to be thrown under the bus so quickly. To be fair, though, I will acknowledge OP was just saying the truth. This to me just screams a very dysfunctional, kind of like petty relationship, but not in a healthy way. Not like our soap story, which is very healthy. A little psycho, but I think mildly healthy. What do you think? Has it changed your opinion? Have the comments swayed you?
It hasn't, but I mean, I hear the points. It's just, I guess, what type
It's
of
a little bit,
relationship you
yeah.
have, and I don't think it's also the type of thing where, oh, you have to always lie for your partner. Like, I guess that's not what I'm getting at as well. I
Yeah.
think it's just situation where I think it's kind of a minor thing. It's like I don't want to.
Yeah. It's just, do you want to cause like more drama? Like, do you want to blow up more? Like, I feel like this is such a small thing, to be honest, to have like, I think the minute she said it though, it upped the level of what this argument was going to be about. Not to say that I argue with the husband, kind of like telling OP, like, no, like, just stop, like, forget your opinion, just follow me. Like, I don't agree with that part either.
Right.
I feel like it's tricky. They both handled it poorly, to be honest.
Yep.
I'm dropping the hammer. Everyone freaking sucks. It's nice to know. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. I did have a hidden agenda with these stories, guys. I was just curious to see what Em would think and what you guys would think as well. Now, after reading these stories, I got a few questions for you guys. So, first off, do drop your favorite soap brand names. I'm just curious. Gonna take a look after this. And also, what is your principle on saving seats? Is it considered the same as quote unquote cutting a line? Do you have a number cut off where you're like, okay, a few are fine, but 6 is too much or something like that? Let me know. And have you ever encountered a situation like this yourself? Don't forget to drop a comment. And as usual, if you enjoyed our readings today, like this video and hit subscribe, guys. Although if you're tuning in from Spotify, don't forget to rate this one 5 stars. Thanks, guys. And I'll see you guys very soon.